Okay, so let's move on to another film with Liam Neeson, Scott, which is Widows, about which I know absolutely nothing. So I hope you can fill us all in.
That's my job. The trailer for Widows made it out to appear like one of the most generic heist plots imaginable, with perhaps the exception of the gender expectation, but when it goes on to say, directed by Steve McQueen, well, now it has my attention. Viola Davis's mild-mannered teacher, Veronica Rowling's life is flipped, turned upside down when her husband and career thief, said Liam Neeson, Harry, and his crew are killed in a botched heist attempt against what turns out to be a dangerous crime lord. This comes back to bite Veronica when said crime lord, Brian Tyree Henry's Jamal Manning, and his disturbing enforcer brother Jitem, played by Daniel Kaluuya, decide that Veronica is on the hook for the $2 million that Harry robbed from them. Seeking a way to raise the money before they collect on her life, she discovers Harry's cache of heist plans, detailing one $5 million job that will strike at the heart of the city's corrupt council members, although this is set in Chicago, so perhaps corrupt goes without saying. In particular, the elections for the alderman that Colin Farrell's Jack Mulligan is fighting with Jamal Manning, with Mulligan somewhat unwillingly looking to continue the political dynasty from his father Tom, Robert Duvall's long-running stint. Needing a crew to carry out the plan, she approaches the widows of Harry's crew, Michelle Rodriguez's Linda Pirelli, whose seemingly successful apparel shop was repossessed to pay for her deadbeat husband's gambling debts, and Elizabeth Debicki's Alice Gunner, initially at least something of a trophy wife who has had to turn to escorting to support herself. They also drafted in sometime babysitter cum beautician Erivo's Bell to the scheme, and they go about planning and executing the heist, the details of which are perhaps best left for a watcher to discover. Now, if I had a complaint about this film, it's perhaps that some of the B-plots, like the whole political corruption deal, felt like it could have done with more space to breathe and would perhaps have been better suited to a miniseries. So perhaps no surprise to see that this was in fact adapted from an 80s miniseries, a British Linda LaPlante joint that I'd previously never heard of, so no comment on that aspect. But thankfully, this is a script and a cast that can pack quite a lot of meaning into quite a few little nods and glances. This could perhaps open it up to being thought of as a slender plot skeleton with a lot hanging off of it, and perhaps, strictly speaking, that's correct, but when it's drowning in this much excellent character work, it's hard to be too upset about it. The leads are superb, with some real sense of character progression and many, many great small moments and deft touches that show the quality of the cast and indeed McQueen. Even from Michelle Rodriguez, which may surprise Drew.
It does, Scott. Is she angry in this film, though? Because that I believe that's her character in every film thing I've ever seen her in.
To be fair, yes, at points she is angry, but she has things to be angry about. The supporting cast are just as effective, from Daniel Kaluuya's menace to Farrell and Duvall's interplay, or Garrett Dillahunt's sympathetic turn as Rawlings' driver come bodyguard. There's a lot of plot threads running through this, and while they don't perhaps tie together entirely to tapestry by the end, it's still a very attractive design that hangs together well enough to, I don't know, keep you warm with the character scarf. The metaphor's getting away from me a little bit, but I like the film a lot, is what I'm getting at. It won't win any awards for the overall originality of the plot, for sure. In particular, there's a twist that's so obvious from the way a particular scene is shot that it may as well be written on your ticket. But overall, this is a satisfyingly dense, chewy, premium film nougat that mixes brilliant character work with genre fireworks better than any other film I've seen this year. It's one of the most enjoyable films of the year, not perhaps in the artsy pushing the boundaries of cinema way, but in terms of being a really fun way to spend a couple of hours, and that is more than enough for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't get to see this. I hadn't so much dismissed it as paid it very little attention. So I saw some kind of interesting posters, actually, which kind of struck me because interesting posters are a rarity nowadays. They tend to be so identical, but that interesting poster was the cars on the spike. And I think I saw a bit of a trailer at one point, but beyond that, it's like, oh, it's a Liam Neeson action thriller thing. I feel I've probably seen this already.
Yes.
And then you recommended it to me, and I was, I would see that. And it's gone already. That didn't hang around long, which is a pity. I really quite fancy seeing that. And the fact Steve McQueen's attached to it, which is potentially a bit of hit and miss because, well, shame. I did not care for that film at all, but I love other Steve McQueen stuff's really good. So, yeah, I'll check it out when I can. I was disappointed I couldn't do so now.
Yes, I highly recommend you do so.